Regular items and nerfs aren't bad, aren't as fun anymore, and we still have useless items like the babies. This is what I'm trying to say. I think a majority of the item changes are very good. I think a lot of the nerfs, although some of them I kind of don't understand, they make sense. They make sense, right? If you pick up, regardless of what version you're on, sorry, I can't talk still. If you're on AB Plus or you're on Repentance, if you find Brimstone, it is still the same good item. A little less good, but it's still a good item to find, and it's still a positive impact on your run. So regardless of these nerfs, regardless of them at all, it is still a fun item to find, and it is still good. The item nerfs are not the issue that I'm talking about. The way that they balance the items in general, making every item at least takeable, is very good. What I don't like is their philosophy on nerfing items. Well, they'll nerf stuff like 2020 and Brim, because it's just a little too good, right? We'll nerf Godhead too. It took you 400 hours to get Godhead, but you know what? We're going to nerf that one too. Which was the item you got in Rebirth for beating the game all the way through, pretty much. Right? So, you know, a bit of a weird one to nerf. And then they add Death Cert into the game. Those two lines of like logic to me don't line up. Because Death Cert is literally every single item. Your choice of whatever item you want to get. Your choice. Right? So why make these good and fun? Well, by the way, they are fun items too. The ones they nerfed are fun, they were fun, and they still are decently fun. Right? So, you're doing this to nerf these good and fun items because it's too good to add an item of the same caliber that is just any item you want. That line of logic for the Godhead nerf and all of that really just doesn't line up with me. That's my thought on that. Now, the other item nerfs, let's talk about like item buffs, right? The item buffs are beautiful. Every item in this game now, you don't understand, every single item, except for like BBF and Cursed Eye, even Cursed Eye is still useful, and Bumbo and stuff, all of those items that are takeable now make the game feel so much better. Because your runs are more diverse now, right? That is a great, great, great benefit. That is an insanely good benefit. Really, really good. So the items, I think, in general, are a positive buff. I think that nerfing the better ones and adding items like Death Cert to compensate is not a good trade-off, but I can deal with that because it makes the other passives and the other actives more takeable and more versatile. I like it. Now, if we go into the issue of the actual game and how the mechanics work, my issues become a little more, I guess, prominent. Game breaking, Edmund hates it. Edmund hates game breaking. Right? He doesn't like when we break his game, which makes sense. It's his piece of art. He can do whatever he wants with it. Game breaking, however, to a player, is... I'm going to watch the video too in a minute. I'm going to open it up right now just so we can have it in the tab. I'm going to pause it too. So, Edmund hates game breaks, and that makes sense. Destroying his game in his eyes is going to suck a lot. That makes a lot of sense. I understand that, and I get it. Now, from a player's perspective, breaking the game is rewarding. Because it requires at least some thought process, right? It requires some kind of process to go through with it and manage it and not ruin it. I will say, in AB+, going into greed mode, you could break every run very, very, very easily. And that was still fun, but less rewarding. I guess what I'm trying to say for this whole game breaking topic is, yes, make it harder to break the game. It's not impossible anymore, which I like. It is. You can still break the game. But you didn't need to nerf Blank Card. You didn't need to nerf Placebo. I guess it wasn't really that big of an item in the first place. You didn't need to nerf the game breaking items. Just nerf the game breaking mechanic. You know? Because items like Blank Card were still fun to use outside of a game breaking, usage, right? It was still fun to have Blank Card, Sun Card with a 4 charge. It was cool and it was fun to have that. Now it's like a 12-room charge because he doesn't want us breaking the game with 2 of diamonds and stuff, which again makes sense. How about you nerf the mechanic instead? Make it so that, I don't even know how you do that, but I'm not a game designer, obviously. But you really, really, really can't win everyone over when you nerf a beloved item like Blink Card and make it just overall worse, right? Make the mechanic harder to do, not the item worse. So then you're punishing the player for wanting this item for a non-game breaking purpose, I feel like. However, that's very minor as well. I don't use Blink Card that much anymore. It's harder to find. Another issue I have with this, with just the update, it is really good. It is really good. It's a good item. Are the item pools more? Is it gonna sound like a weird little nitpick? More the golden chest pool. I am so much less happy to see an item in a golden chest. Why did you take Tammy's head? I understand it is a very good item. Just make it rare. Don't put it in one pool, a claw machine pool of that even. Like Tammy's, I don't even understand. Tammy's head is now rarer than Mega. It is harder to find Tammy's head on a run than find Mega. The golden chest pool got screwed. I'm spending a key and maybe even a whole boss trap room to get Mom's heels, or I guess Mom's underwear at that point. The golden chest pool was fun because it had those items you could find often. Nope, Tammy's head is out of the golden chest pool. Same with Cricket's head, I believe. Cricket's head, I think, is only a crawl space and a claw machine item as well. It's not in the golden chest pool anymore. It's moved out because it was too easy to find. That's fine. Make it rarer to find though. Don't put it in one machine that's rare to find in a run anyways. It's just not, to me, good design. Because now I had that item once in Repentance. They also nerfed Tammy's head. Now that I can kind of get, because Tammy's head was a bit busted. But if you're gonna make it this rare, then don't nerf it. Don't nerf it. Make an item rare or just nerf it. It shouldn't be both. Make an item worse, then you hide it somewhere hard to find. It's just not ideal. That is a great and a fun item. It is a fun item, but now you never find it. You never see it anymore. But that's one case, right? Golden chest pools, they're just boss pool items now, which is lame. Make it their own thing again. Whatever. Who cares at this point? That's a very minor complaint as well. My biggest gripe in Repentance, my number one gripe, is the enemy design. That is where I'm starting to draw the line on how, if I like this update or not. I will tell you straight up, I would rather fight Delirium than go through every single alt floor in a run. That is how much I think these alt floors are just sucky. And that is not, Vin's fault. That is not Tyrone's, that's not Edmund's fault. They're still working out the kinks. The update, what you guys understand too, is rep is unfinished. Rep is unfinished. I like hard games too. Repentance is not hard. It's infuriating. I've been making, but that's also your opinion, babe, that you like hard games personally. That is also your opinion. Yours is not above mine in any way. But the thing that bothers me the most is that I've tried to make a video called "Is Repentance Good?" But I don't want to put it out because I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that because people just can't take criticism on a game they like. It's ridiculous. But I've been getting clips of people just dying to random telefrag. Let's watch a video real quick. Let's watch a video. Let's watch a video real quick because I have a video I want to show you that is a Repentance byproduct only. I gotta find the DM real quick. Here it is. Here it is. Okay. Let's watch this clip real quick. I'm gonna open up a window capture again. I'm gonna add another one. Add capture. Window capture. Add source. New source. Add source. This would not have happened in any other game version. Listen in the background too. Would not have happened. You see what I'm talking about? See what I'm talking about? And not only that, not only that, I gotta find the other one real quick because I don't know where it is. It's in the DM still. That's not at all what we're saying. That's not at all as what we're saying. That is not it what we're saying at all. I forget who sent it. I believe it was Gabe. It was Gabe. Okay. Again.
Dream doesn't really do this. He throws one eye after leaving the nether.
Watch how he dies. Watch how he dies.
Then, after running a large distance and getting into the stronghold.
Did you catch that? Did you catch that? Bring by from analysis here. Let's watch this. Watch this guy. Watch this little guy right here. Watch this. This guy right above that second pit right there. Watch what happens. He's behind Isaac right now. He's behind Isaac right now. And now he's right on top of him. Isaac did not move. Isaac stood. Also, this is less than a second. So no reaction time things. 8 seconds. He spawns there. On second 8, he dies. Literally less than half a second that happens. That did not ever happen in... Oh, why is it still open? I gotta... Did not ever happen in Afterbirth Plus. Well, let's look at this clip too. That's funny. That's more funny. That's a little more funny. Talk about how we can talk about that after this. So Spunky 2 being telefragged by a croc and dying in one hit is less fair than this. Dude, telefragging. Are you arguing for telefragging? Are you arguing for telefragging? Are you arguing for unavoidable damage in games? Are you arguing for unavoidable damage in games? Because that is not a hill you want to die on. That is not a hill you want to die on. At all. You're not arguing against it. So you think in your perfect world, you'd rather die to unavoidable damage than win a run. You'd rather die to something out of your control entirely than win the run. That's your perfect world of a run right there. But those two clips right there just demonstrate how unbalanced the enemy design really is in this game. It really is not. It isn't balanced at all. So my point continues when I look at just the alt floors and his enemies. Like when you first play Repentance. Wait, what are we talking about right now with the mods and streamers, guys? Who cares if streamers use mods? If you don't want to watch them, don't watch them. It is their video. It is their stream. It's their choice. If they want to use mods, fine by them. How many of you guys use Platinum God? How many of you guys use Platinum God? You guys will use Platinum God? It's the same thing as using the item description mod. Platinum God is the same thing. Platinum God is the same thing as using the item description mod with an extra step. If they want to use mods, it's up to them. It's their game. They can play it as whatever they want. It doesn't matter. That is just purely informational. Purely informational. If you don't want to watch them, don't critique how someone plays a game. They want to play it. No, I know it's your opinion, but I'm just saying that there shouldn't be those telefragging. There shouldn't be a thing in the game. And also the other enemy design, like if we look at the enemies in Repentance, 1 second. 1 second. Let's look up Repentance enemies. All right? Those are the new items. Hold on. How is Pogmod cheating? That is not. It's just a mod, dude. Like these mods are they're just costumes, you know. Okay. First of all, look at these bosses, right? Baby Plum, a fine boss. I like this boss. I think it is very, very, very good. Very good. Do they use mods? I mean, yeah, it enhances their run for their own purpose, but who cares? It's their game either way. I mean, if I use mods and you guys complain about it, I just would keep using them. It's up to them. It's their stream, it's their video, it's their content. It's up to them. But anyways, Baby Plum. The good boss. Great. I think it's a great design. I think the diagonal brimstone is very easy to deal with. I think it's a great design. Bumbino. He is a. Here, let's do this. He's a caves boss who does pretty much full heart damage for every single attack he has. Not only that, his arena is coated in rocks. Limited movement, all that. Very not fun. Not fun boss. It's instant damage. Instant damage. Right? There we go. Reap Creep. I like him. He is a good design boss. He's unique. He has very easy telegraphs. Very, very, very easy to deal with. The Pile. This is a boss that previously I had no issue with. Dishonest? How are they dishonest with their viewers? What are you talking about? That is an allegation you cannot say. You cannot say that. Just so you know, I'm friends with Alexa. We're friends, and he is not dishonest with their viewers. That is a claim you cannot say. Only Sin was an allegation. And by the way, who cares if he cheated or not? Honestly, that man's streak is his income. If your money relied on you having a high streak, you would cheat too. So who cares? John, give me one example of them saying they don't use mods. Give me one example of that, and I will believe you. Anyways, Reap Creep, it's his eyes. You look at his eyes for Brimstone. Look at his eyes. Anyways, the Pile, previously I had no issue with them. Now I do. They don't trick children. First of all, you're a child by just typing this. Second of all, they don't act like they don't use mods. And I think you're trolling, so I'm just going to stop responding. I think you're trolling, I'm just not going to respond to you anymore. I think you're just trolling us. Okay. There was an instance that me and Preach had with the Pile that he started moving in one direction, and then midway through it, just switched and went behind. The thing that I'm most mad about, I get it, it's early in the game's release, so it's barely even, not even like half a year into it. No other boss, aside from Delirium, had this issue ever. Ever. Lil Blub, fine boss. Difficult but fine. Wormwood, fine boss. Easy to deal with. Rainmaker, a bit harder, but now that they know how he works, he's fine. Min Min, harder, but easy. Downpour bosses, love them. Great design. These guys are all incredible bosses. Okay, John, give me one example. When did they ever act like they didn't use mods? Are you implying that they're cheating? Are you implying that they're cheating in their game by modding in better items? That's not the case. You can use their seeds and they aren't using the better items. Anyways. Callistomia, I just know people hate him, but he is not hard to deal with at all. He's a bit harder. A bit harder. Turtlet, he's fine. He has no armor, so good. That's really nice. He's very low armor. Tough Twins. I like Tough Twins. I like Tough Twins. I think it's a cool boss design. Hornfell, I like a lot as well. Gideon. This is a hard one to pin. This is a hard one to pin. Because there are a lot of issues with him. For one, half the time you're fighting the boss, you can't see him what he's doing. That's one kind of issue, but it's easy to deal with. It's easy to deal with. Now the wave system, it can be That is a dead take, John. I am sorry. That is the worst thing I've ever read in my entire life. Use their seeds. Go to any of their videos, go to their seed, and enter it in. You have the same exact run as them. You have the same exact run as them. I'm gonna guess you're baiting, so now I'm done responding. Use any of their seeds and go into their runs and go into the run and see what you get. It'll be the same thing. Test it out yourself because I am not gonna hear you talk trash on someone who helped me get started on YouTube, Alexa, and my inspirations, which are NL and Sin. So, anyways, Singe. Sorry, Gideon. Gideon's. Okay. You know what, John? You've had enough. You've had enough, man. You gotta literally just stop being an idiot. I'm sorry, but I can't deal with you doing that. I don't even know how to time someone out, man. I don't even know how to do that. I'm the worst streamer ever. There we go. I got it. I got it. I'm not listening to that. I'm not. That is just the worst ever. You can't accuse someone of doing that. That is ridiculous, and we can test that out later. We can enter in their seeds. XY, just don't paste it. I don't really want to read that anymore. Ridiculous copy pasta. But anyways, Gideon, he's not the actual boss you're fighting. That's kind of another issue. I think it's a really cool idea. I don't think it works well. I think a lot of them, if you get him in the Ashby and you get the Ghost Wave, you are kind of screwed. Because we'll get to the Ghost later, but I think he's on the verge of being a really cool boss if he just was more polished. The arenas can screw you over. Visually, it screws you over. You can't see what he's charging up, what he's going to be doing. Now, normally you can no-hit this guy. It's not fun, but normally you can work with it. I think I would rate him as a B grade, you know? But that's very one rare card to get, though, Galexian. Singe, I think Singe is a poorly designed boss. I think he is a very, very badly designed boss. All you gotta do, quote games, is stand next to him. Stand to his left, you'll never get hit. You'll never get hit. So stand to his left. So, Singe is, I think, a very poorly designed boss. Because it is him, and it is like 5 to 6 spike balls you have to move around. And he chases you and pushes them around as well. He is a boss that I think could benefit from, if he only had 2 spike balls. Beautiful. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. The other issue is, when he jumps, he makes a cross pattern of pits on the floor. That, accompanied by the spike balls and the other rocks and pits in the arena, can't get you stuck. Not soft locked, but stuck where you're kind of stuck, just gonna get hit by him randomly or something like that. Make him only break 1 pit. Make him only have 2 spike balls. The boss, he's not hard to get around and win against him, but it is so much to handle that in any mode aside from like single player, even co-op, you just can't do it. Once you've learned it, it's fine. But the problem is there are times you can still get hit. I think he's just a small nerf is all I ask for him. 1 less spike ball, 1 less pit, you know, all that stuff. Shell, same thing as Tough Twins, a cool, unique boss. I like it. Siren. Siren is a boss that, he's a boss, that's for sure. Siren is a boss. My biggest issue with her is I came into a run where a lot of my DPS came from Little Brim and came from Mongo Baby and came from familiars, as well as my knife. She sings once, I cannot fire for the next like 15 seconds because she has my familiars. Now, it is a cool idea. However, I think, okay, here's another thing too. If you have Headless Baby and she takes it, and you step in your own creep after you've already had him, you take damage. If you have Boil Baby, it's almost guaranteed damage on you. It's That's it. If you have Boil Baby, if you have there's certain things that you can have that make the fight a pain. The knife being one of them. If she gets the knife and she sings and you keep shooting at her, you're done for. You lose your way out, which is that one gap she has. You lose that because of the knife, and now you're stuck getting hit. She's a boss that you need to fight a lot more than you'd like to. No, it doesn't, because Lilith doesn't have an Incubus. It's a special familiar, so you're fine with that. I think she's fine. I think just take down the DPS on the friends that she gets, and it makes it a bit better. A bit better. But overall, she's okay. Just a little bit of like a hair in my mouth. Ugh. A little bit of like a seesaw, you know? It's if your run is based off familiars, run ending thing there. Heretic? Okay. I used to hate Heretic. I used to despise this. Heretic is a good boss. It is a well-designed and good boss. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh my god, that fire move? That fire move, oh my god. It is not hard. You want the BD1P fire move tip? Only watch fires 1 and 3. 1 and 3. All you gotta watch is those, and you can find your opening easily. Easily. The hardest thing is that dash, because all he does is it's 4 instead of 3, and you always get. I always think it's gonna be 3, but it's always 4, etc. But yeah, the Visage, incredible boss. This boss is super easy to fight. He's he's the easiest boss in the Mausoleum, honestly, easiest boss, and he is so much fun. I think it is a great boss, and no questions needed. He's just easy to deal with, great boss, really cool attacks, cool aesthetic to him too. Chef's kiss, dude. Chef's kiss. All right. So what you do is if you as long as you gotta kind of watch 1, 2, and 3 though. But if you stand between 1 and 3, they will not connect. If you stand like let's say, okay, how do I explain this? Let's open up a drawing thing real quick. Hold on. Let's open up a drawing thing. Let's open up drawing. We'll just do Photoshop, honestly. Photoshop. Here we go. We'll open up Photoshop. Okay, and we also add a new window capture for Photoshop. Window capture, add source, new, add source. We're going to then add Photoshop. Spoiler list for the thumbnails, by the way. We'll just open up like a random, we'll just make a new one. We'll create a new document. Okay. What's up, hams? So when you're fighting Heretic, if you have, where's my brush tool at? Where's my brush tool at? So let's say your first fire, purple for Heretic. If this is fire 1 right here, right? This is fire 2. This is fire 3. And this is fire 4. Let's mark those down, right? Let's mark those down. Right? You got 1. This was, I believe, 2, 3, and 4. What's going to happen is 1 goes to 2, 2 goes to 3, 3 goes to 4, 4 goes to 1. As long as you're standing, I would say ideally, no matter what your setup is, if you stand right here, there's like a green yellow dot is, even if that was 3 and that was 2, that was 3, that was 4, as long as your 1 and your 3 are together and nothing in between them, you will never get hit in the second. Always watch 1, 3, and kind of 2, and you should be a-okay on that. Anyways, back to here. Wrong window capture to blur. Do that one. Which one's Photoshop? Oh, it's this one. Okay. Watch this clip. Okay, watch this clip. Yeah, okay, so rooms like that still do exist. Campfire 4 spawn between 1 and 3. It's like 4 stands right between 1 and 2. Yeah, then you just gotta stand between 3 and 4 at that point. So, well, no, actually, I guess 3 and 4 connect, and 4 and 1 connect. In my example, hold on. Campfire 4 spawn right here. The fires, I believe, are only in the corners and the center of the room. I believe. It could be different, but honestly, just watch 1 and 3 and you should be fine. At least mostly. I don't want to get too into it right now because I want to get on to the next part of the video, or next part of this, thing. But anyways, let's go back to our thing over here. So, our other bosses are a little faster now. Horny boys, you can deal with them. They're not that bad. Rotgut, no, it's fine. Rotgut is okay. Rotgut is okay. Problem is, if you're running with a low range build or you're running melee like with Spirit Sword, when you fight the ball sack section or the heart section, you are in a very bad position. Very, very, very bad position. However, the boss is cool and it works well normally. I like it. I like it. Chimera. Good boss. This is a good boss. Scourge, a bit too many tiers, but I mean, he's meant to be a harder boss he's like one of your final bosses you fight in the run, so makes sense. He's as hard as Chimera is too. Once you learn this, the only problem is that they're rare, so you never really get to, like, you know, find his attacks out. But anyways, Dogma, Chef's Kiss, perfect boss. Perfect boss. Not even that hard. Very mediocre difficulty. Second phase is sick. First phase is sick. Need I say more? I don't think so. Moving on. I'm not going to count these because these are a separate arena. It doesn't really count. I mean, I'll just say that they're all good, including Beast is lame, but he's kind of cool. Mother. You're supposed to go into his mouth. You're supposed to. Mother is a boss who's very, very difficult. Here's the thing. I think Mother is a good design boss. I play too much co-op though, and in co-op, Mother is ridiculously hard. I'll just say she's a good boss. Good boss. Now we get to this part of the video where I start to get a little more critical. Deep Gaper. I mean, it's a normal guy, he's fine. Blurb. This type of enemy. The types that have the Monstro's Lung attacks. Let's talk about those for a minute. So previously, I don't know if you guys knew this. Previously in Isaac, shots were pretty much only at 90-degree angles. In terms of, sorry, this sounds really weird. Okay, let me rephrase. In terms of tier height and tiers that can hit you from above, in tier height stance, Monstro's Lung shots like that were previously heightened, so you can go underneath them and not have so many things coming at you at once. These enemies, their entire wall of tiers that shoot out, every tier will hit you. Every tier will hit you if you go near it. Every single tier will hit you, right? That is, in my eyes, that is not good design. I would not call that good design. Having a shotgun effect is supposed to have a drawback. That drawback being shorter range and just the height of it. Monstro exists for a reason. His attack, you can go in between the tiers. While their range is very, very, very short, it also covers a wide berth. These shots don't go up. Their height is replaced with berth. And while that is usually fine, when you find these guys in a room, also thank you for the thank you for the follow. Snipsy. I kind of missed it. I'm sorry. Here, hold on. There we go. That should be better. And that too. Okay. So when you find this in a room, it's never just one. It's never just one. It is 2 to 4. And that's fine. But when they take damage, and or if you hit them or you're close to them, it pops out. And because they spawn in the same area, they kind of come towards you. You're stuck dodging what might end up being a whole wall of tears the entire room wide. Is this the new update? Yeah, it is. So I don't have an issue with them necessarily, but in the later floors we'll get to it and we'll talk about why they get worse in the mines. But in Downpour, it's dealable. When you partner these guys with where are they? Where's my big boy? Where's my big boy at? Oh my god, they took my big boy out of the game? Where is he? There he is. When you do that with Bubbles, when you do that with Bubbles, the issue then becomes you have no way to dodge. No longer, you can't dodge anymore because now your left side of the room is a raining tears. Your bottom left is raining tears, and now you have 3 shotgun attacks rushing you down. Oh, you can dodge them. Yeah, you can dodge them for sure. But a lot of the time, I died earlier on stream to a tier. An enemy died like right here, and the tier came down right here. There's too much uncontrollability in those shotgun and those raining attacks. Too much. You really, really, really cannot come into here, those rooms, and expect to get out with no damage. When you go to the alt boys, you expect to get hit a lot. Now wraiths are fine. It's the same thing as the deep gaper. Whatever. It might have been John on alt. I don't know. Next up, we have like all these wraiths and crackles and all these guys. Like they're the same thing. Dead Isaacs, whatever. What's up, little stickman? Twitchy is a bit hard, but at that point in the game, you should have a pretty decent run. One thing I want to say though too about the alt floors is you only go to them when you're going to Mother, right? Like that's only when you want to go to them is when you're going to Mother because they're really difficult. The other issue arises when you have to choose if you're going to Mother within your first 2 floors of the game. That is absurd. At no point in your run, in the first 2 floors, will you know if going to Mother is going to be a possibility. If you get Polyphemus, sure. You might be like, oh, I can go beat Mother. The rest of the run could be garbage. Having to make that decision, that very, very concise decision to go to Mother within the first 2 floors of your run makes the alt floors that much harder. Because then you're usually going down there with a mediocre to bad build. No, this is Repentance itself. This is like everything to do with Repentance. My issues with it primarily. Having to make that choice 2 floors into the game is not okay. If I could, how would I change it? Personally, I think once you've beaten Mother 3 times, let's say, you can find your knife piece on Mausoleum 1, you know, in a special room. Having to consistently make the choice to go to Dark, or to go to Downpour, which is admittedly Downpour is an easier floor. You're making a choice to go to Mother before you know how your run's gonna be. Your run could be hot garbage, and you're stuck on the Mother path now. You can't go back. You already got your knife pieces. You're already on Mausoleum 2. You're stuck. You know, you can't go back. You shouldn't ever be fully committed to a path until it's like negative Polaroid time. So at that point, you have time to fix your run. You have time to plan it out. When you're going to Mother, you only have one way to go, and you've made that choice 2 floors into the game. I think all paths are cool, but why is every single floor required to go down there? It is only Downpour 2 and Mines 2, sure, but then it also becomes an issue of one wrong trapdoor and you've screwed yourself for going to Mother. You've screwed yourself entirely. So it can make it a bit more frustrating. It makes it a bit more frustrating. Because normally my experience with these alt floors is not OP, it's going down with a mediocre build. And these floors are not meant for mediocre builds. Because you get enemies such as, let's see. Dump is an awful enemy. I think it's easy to deal with, but it can be awful sometimes. This is a corpse one, who cares? This one's fine. This one, Necro can just Go away. Necro can just go away. Necro can just go away. Necro is one of those enemies that I find and I'm like, oh my god, guaranteed damage. Pseudo homing shots that can appear anywhere in the room. I don't like that. Can you dodge it? Yeah, sure. Sure. You can dodge it. Army flies, if they actually followed your path and weren't erratic, they'd be a lot easier to deal with. I think it's easy to corner yourself with them, but overall, they're flies. You can deal with it. Willows, if you could go to Cathedral or Shoal, I think if you just made the knife piece. I mean, if you just made it so you didn't require to have. I mean, keep the knife the same way, but make it so the flesh room can either be opened by all knife items, or you can bomb it open after you've already beaten it a couple times. Willows, I've learned to deal with. They're fine. Ultra flies don't matter. Fly bombs you can deal with. Bulbs are cool enemies. They're a great design choice. Grilled Claudies are better than the regular Claudies at this point, honestly. Cloggies, they're a little hard, you can deal with them. Prey. Fine thing. Cardigan, die. Straight up die. Takes up half your room. Takes up half your room. Like, it's whatever. It's whatever. That's the point though, Galexian. The alt floors have no reason, there's no reward to go to the alt floors. Before I get a lot of hate for that. That double item thing is not a reward. Don't even try to, that's not a reward at all. Not even close to a reward. Not even close. Not even close to a reward. It is the same thing, if not worse, than a normal item room. Because you walk in there, let's say it's friendly ball. No one wants friendly ball. You go for the blind item, BBF. What's gonna happen in those floors? You either take a good item you would have seen, take a fine item you would have taken anyways, right? You know, take a regular item you would have found anyways on any other floors, or you find the same level of item, blind, or a worse item. Rarely ever is taking a blind item a like that was an insane moment there. It's always gonna be just like mediocre or something that you didn't want to have for your build anyways. What about keeping the knife and downpour 2 gives you 2 boss items if you mirror? That could be fine too. I mean, there needs to be more reward. The knife thing is fine, having it there. There needs to be more reward. You still get an extra boss item too, if you're playing as the Lost. How about you just give them, like, Afterbirth had it perfectly. 2 regular items, 1 is not blind. Right? That's how you should do it. I would even go as far as to say that you deserve there's options and more options on those floors. There is no current reward for going down there. Because, for example, you'll find enemies like Molagul, who spawns willows and also is surrounded by willows usually. Bouncer. Bouncer is an enemy that corners you and will hit you. You gotta go on those, you gotta really focus on those guys first. Are they fine? Yeah. But a little crossing that line sometimes. And who cares about that? Another one of those monstrous lung guys, just... This one's even worse, he spawns spiders as well. Not good. Not a good design. Make the shots either higher and less dense. All that I require. Same deal with this guy. Blaster, good enemy. I like this guy. I like it. It's not OP. It's fine, but it's like... You'd rather have almost any other active item instead of it. These guys are fine. Carrion Princess is fine. Leeches are fine. Ooh, Blood Puppy. I hate it. I hate it. Cursed Goblin, mostly fine. Can be a bit hard if your build is awful, but you can deal with it. Also fine enemy. They're okay. Cohort can go away. Cohort does not deserve a chance in this list. This guy is a faster, smaller monstro who shoots at you, and when he dies, he will spawn 4 globins that go in random directions And literally, every time I kill this guy, they land on me. They land on me. Instant full heart of damage because they do full heart damages. That's what those Globins do. Enemy, this guy needs to have just... It doesn't feel like Isaac. You know, it feels like it's a mod. He's too heavy, he jumps too fast, he moves too quick for his size. Bigger enemies than Isaac are known to be slower. The fatties. A lot of the bosses are stagnant when they're bigger. There's Gertie, Mama Gertie. This guy is big and he's quick for no reason. Does not feel like an Isaac boss. Gas Bag is fine. Dragonflies are incredibly cool enemies. I love these guys. They're really, really good. Boneflies, a little less cool, but they're still pretty cool. Sick Boomfly, you're crossing the line a little bit there, but overall fine. Hard Host, cool. This guy is just annoying as all hosts usually are. Eggy is, is fine. This guy's fine. Pond is fine. These guys, I think they're pretty cool. Angelic babies are just easier, fetuses. Wrinkly babies can be a little over the line, but usually it's fine. Both wrinkly babies and unborns I don't like that much, but I know it's because I'm just bad at the game with those guys. Usually I'm fine against them, but they can be a little bit close to the telefragging. I don't like that, being that close to telefragging. Begotten baby, fine enemy. Enemies should not get homing lasers. Enemies should not get homing lasers. The problem with having a homing laser on an enemy is that if they're out of your field of vision and they're charging up, they will still shoot and they will still home. And that can put you in a place where, as a player, if you're in a corner, you can't escape it. So I'm going to say really hard, awful no to these guys. I will say. Evis. He's cool. I like the idea. He's cool. Slog, I hate these guys. I'm just bad. They're good. They're cool enemies. I'm just bad against them. So whatever. These guys are fine. Black Knights are ridiculously hard, but they're very, very fun enemies to play against. Whippers and Snappers and Flagellants. I'm better with them. Snappers I still think are a little over the edge sometimes, but overall I think they're good designs and you can get behind them. Whatever. Dead Meat. It's just like a brain. It's pretty fine. Holy Eyes I think are okay. Striders as well. Rock Spiders. This man I like. I think it's a little hard, but I like it. Mask 2 plus half heart. They're pretty cool. The design is really, really sick. Peeping Fatty. I mean, he's very, very minute. He's very, very like... I think he's okay. He is a bit much, but he's okay. Bubbles, we already talked about. Bubbles is pretty bad design. Big Boney is pretty cool. I like it. Quakely is hard. Quakely is just... The thing with the rock enemies is usually enemies that have a lot of armor are a bit weaker and only have one attack. Quakely's do rocks from the ceiling, 8 rocks out, and 4 cage things. That's too much. It's not a boss, it's an enemy. Tone it down. The good thing is, though, they knew that, and they only put like 1 in each room that you go into, which is nice, but they can still be a bit much. Viz Fatty. I think Viz Fatty is great. I think Viz Fatty is a cool enemy design. I like him. I don't care what you say, I like him. I think it's not hard to dodge at all. Gutted Fatty. This guy has too much HP. That's it. Too much HP. Plus, you find him on Corpse. I think Corpse is like a plus like 6 stage HP. So, yeah. Festering Guts are fine. Lyra, I agree it's okay, but I'd rather have any other items. I don't like the familiars. They distract me too much, but I know what you're saying. Tainted Faceless. Yeah, I can deal with it. Cool enemy. Love this. Love this. Cursed Death's Head. Insanely cool. Brimstone Death's Head. Don't like it. Dusty Death's Head can F right off. Too much going on in the room when you have these here. Too much going on in the room. You can't even kill... you don't think you can kill either of these. Red Skull I don't like also. I think it's too much of a radius for it overall. But that's personal. I mean, it's a fine enemy still. Matter for this one. Ugh. It's fine, I guess. Migraine also. I love this. Migraine is so cool. I love this enemy so much. Corns, drips, and splurts. Don't mind too much. They're fine. Hardy has too much HP. Hardy is too tanky. Overall, he's fine, but he's too tanky. Revenants are pretty cool. Maze Roamers is a pretty alright boss. They have cool designs. I like it a lot. Holy Bony, too much HP again, I think, personally. Planetoid, I hate it, but it's doable. I hate it, but it's doable. Poofers, same deal. Bishops, I love bishops. I think they're very cool designs. Problem is, no, there's no problem actually. They're fine. They're fine. Goats are fine. Black goats are fine. Cultists and blood, they're all fine. Soy and tainted soy creeps, good enemies. Very, very, very good enemies. No, not that. Fireworms are fine. Moles are also fine. I like them. Potleys, love them too. These guys I don't like that much, but they're doable. It's kind of weird design. I feel like it's a bit. Meant to let Hardy ran against the wall and kill itself. I shoot it a lot. Dusts. Okay. We get into the pin territory here. Needles territory. If you have an enemy that upon entering the room is invisible and you don't know it's there, that is your first mistake. When you walk into a room, have the game show you a quick flash of the enemies in there. I want you to be able to see the dusts and see the needles and the frails and all that on the ground first. That way you know what's in there. Because a lot of the time, I'll walk into a room that has regular ash pit enemies in it, and I'll go to dodge into a corner, and boom, there's a dust right there, and I'm hit. Terrible, terrible, terrible design. Look at this too. Look at this too, by the way. Let's say you dodge into a corner, dodge an attack. The closer you are to this thing, the faster it moves. Counterintuitive. Counterintuitive. Need I say more? Fly traps are fine. Poot mines are fine. This guy's sick as hell. I love him. I love him. I haven't watched it. No, I have not watched it. Flesh Maiden. It's cool. I like it. Morning Star. They're alright. Needles and pasties, same deal. To make them visible. They're not that bad, but make them visible in the room. Henry, whatever, who cares. Little portals are pretty fine. Triple Grimace, again, fine. These guys are all fine. Moculus, this is pretty cool. I like it. But it can be a bit much, but I think it's a cool design. I think it's mostly positive. Ball and Chains, I don't like Trap Rooms and Isaac, I think don't belong. They're slow and they don't really provide much purpose. So I don't like Spike Balls and stuff. Singe's Balls, love those, obviously. Min-Mins. Okay. Vintage Plasma. Doesn't matter. Or sorry, Visage Plasma. Okay. That's it for that. That is it for talking about the enemies. In that regard. So, out of all the enemies, most of them are really, really cool. Tainteds don't matter. You can always just bomb them. I think Tainteds they're all fine in my eyes. They're all fine. I would say 70% of the enemies that they add into the game are very cool and good. However, that remaining 30% in the rooms they spawn in, they just take it down a notch. It makes it so you hate everything in there. The arenas on the alt floors, brutal. The enemy combinations, brutal. The bosses, mostly fine, but difficult. There is no reward to going down to these floors yet. They're difficult for a reason, I get that. But there is almost no reward for it. And I want to say too, just so everyone is new here, I like Repentance. I think it's a good update. I have a lot of issues with it though. A lot of issues with it. A lot of these items that everyone's like, they nerf the good ones, that's pretty good. Then they add Genesis into the game. Then they add, Dark Arts into the game. They add Book of Virtues. They add Alabaster Box. They add Anima Sola. They add, that's just how it is sometimes, man. add Mega Mush into the game, you know, all this cool stuff. But aside from that, balancing the folks vid now, that's not that one. Sure, we'll watch this. We're not gonna watch it. I mean, it's 12 minutes long. Yeah, is this video only 6 minutes? All right, watch it at double speed. Why not? Why not?
In this video, I'm going to close another chapter in the Voco cinematic universe. I've talked about Terraria, I've talked about Spelunky, and I've talked about Don't Starve. These games have shaped my mind to what an indie game is supposed to be. Absolutely adore the amount of creativity these games have to offer and the ideas they bring to the table. But most importantly, they are fun as hell to play, like really goddamn fun. I want to fight spooky ghosts, I want to get an item that just makes me fart, I want to go to hell. Indie games in general.
This is not going to be intuitive at all, is it? Yeah, it's a meme. I'm not going to watch it. I'm trying to talk about actual, like, you know, the game. That is not going to be an in-depth thing into what I want to talk about, really. So, like, TLDR for all this, Repentance is a good update. The biggest thing everyone talks about is the balancing issues, right? I think with what it fixed, it added twice, like, it added twice the worst stuff with enemies and stuff. The game, don't confuse difficulty with, or how should I say this? Like, don't confuse difficulty with the game just being harder, because it's all artificial. It's enemies that can snipe you from across the room. It's homing brimstone. It's raining things. It's wide shotgun shots of everything. It's bullshittery. Yeah, they aren't one and together. The person who was here earlier who was defending telefragging, their main point was that they're an R holder. This opinion on Isaac is very common. They were basically saying, which blew my mind, by the way, no offense to them, but they said that they like Repentance more because it's easier to hold R and get a good item. That was their entire stance. How do you... Whatever. Mostly I think Repentance is good. Mostly. With the buffed enemy shot speed, with the buffed enemies in general, most enemies that were changed, a lot of the enemies that were already in the game were changed to be harder. A lot of those changes suck. Headless guys. Like, the shots that come out of anything in this game, the enemy shot speed is very good change. However, they didn't think it through, I feel like. Because there are rooms you can walk into where dodging is just every ounce of your effort. Every room is a struggle now. And that's fun to a degree. When your run is already a struggle, every room becomes just like the most painful thing ever. Is the tension good? I don't know. I think mostly, yeah, tension is pretty good. But when you're adding these things into the game, and you're changing how the core... Here's what I think. Most rooms are the same. Old rooms are still there. The enemies are changed. Those changes don't reflect the rooms. Now, those rooms that you're walking into with these faster enemies and the faster shot speeds become insanely difficult. You're not looking at these slow shots anymore that you can, like, dodge around in between. You're looking at speeding bullets. Speeding bullets that come at you. It's reaction time. It comes down to just playing defensively now. Offensively is not the option. The runs, like I said earlier, runs went from your average time being 25 minutes a run to like almost 45. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, 3 fire Claddies in a small room. Claddies themselves. Here, you know what? You know what? Look at this. Look at this. Let's see. This is Forgotten Seed. Isaac is this seed. For example, this is run by Gazer, by the way. This is ran by Gazer, this run that we recorded here. This room in itself is very slow. This room in itself is very slow. Now, look at this next room. This is a floor 1 room right here. This is a floor 1 room. To beat 2 rooms on floor 1, the easiest floor in the game, is around 45 seconds. That's 2 rooms only. 2 rooms. Now, is it a bad thing? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. It is not a terrible thing. But when every room in the run is like that, it becomes an issue. Not even mentioning. Look at this right here. The shop nerfs were undeserved. They already nerfed Restock. They already nerfed Blank Card. They already nerfed 2 Diamonds, for God's sake. Tarot Cloth as well. On top of that, no more Restock machines, which means shops are infinitely worse. They're so much worse. The meta was turned upside down. Devil deals, way worse. Angel deals, way better, but you can't even get them first floor. Look at this. Did I post that yet? I think I posted that. We'll add it back eventually. I'll wait till I see it. Was this the one that happened on? What am I trying to find? It wasn't this. It was a different run. Anyways, basically what happened is I sacrificed on floor 2 to get You Feel Blessed, which gives you a 100% angel deal chance. I fought my boss. I got a devil deal. Stuff like that. They're trying to fix the game, yeah. They shouldn't have released the update yet is the problem. It's unfinished. Tainted Lads and Jacob are unfinished. The update is not ready for release yet. It's not polished, it's not finished, it's not fixed. The alt floors need infinite tweaking. Greed mode is still insanely boring. I know it's what Ed didn't want to do. When an update comes out and it's this unpolished, to the point where here's the thing. I've talked with Alexa, I've talked with Preet, I've talked with Kilvin, Isaac Guru, Mage Seal, everybody. I've had conversations with everybody. I talked to a lot of them. Everyone's repentance opinion is, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. No one thinks it's like perfect. The thing I get a lot of is it's unpolished, and it is. It's unpolished. It's unfinished. It shouldn't have come out yet. Everyone who has game experience, whether it's me or Preets or Kilvin or Alexa, we all have. I mean, not aside from Preets, we all have over 2,000 hours in the game. It doesn't feel like it's actually supposed to be out yet. It could have been. What it should have been was booster packs. He didn't want to release the game. It's not as bad as Cyberpunk was at all. Not even close. The game was not ready for release yet. What it should have done was the booster pack strategy. Put it out in chunks. It's a lot lamer and a lot less hype, but it's gonna feel a lot better. Exposing yourself to Isaac in chunks is the way to play it. We can't, because everything in this game is thrown at you right now, and it's just not great. Every item you knew was changed, all this other stuff. Shop nerfs, not great. Shop nerfs, again. Dark Bum nerf makes sense, but it's a bit harsh. You know? Nerfs is a shame. Broken wants to be the most fun on Isaac. Broken Isaac comes rare. Always to hide him. This is what I was saying too. Nerfs are a shame. Broken ones are the most fun ones you get in Isaac. Broken item combos are also rare as it is anyways. Breaking runs, if they would have just nerfed Restock and Steam sale and stuff, same game, perfect, fine, incredible. Make enemies better too. Obsessive nerfs and all this stuff. Anyways, that's going to be it for that discussion on that. That started off by somebody saying that Repentance was more fun than Afterbirth Plus, and I was like, I don't agree. and they went and told me that it was. We looked at the stats for it, and they admitted that they were an R holder. So that's where that one came from. Probably go on YouTube is just me talking about repentance and my issues with it, and overall. If you're watching this far into the video, I mean, like, it's my opinion. Remember, you don't gotta go and hate and say, "Oh, look how wrong he is." I think out of anybody that's watching this video, it sounds cocky, but I probably have the most Isaac experience. I mean, number one, world record holder right here. I hold the world record currently in the game. Number two, I have 2,500 hours in this game. I've played every single edition of Isaac ever to release for hours and hours and hours on end. I have had a 60 plus Eden win streak in Afterbirth Plus. Like, I have the experience to talk about this. I don't hate repentance. I just want it. I'm disappointed. I want it to be better. It can be way better, and it should be way better. But it's just my 2 cents. Don't dislike the video because you're an Isaac fan. You can't take criticism. It happens a lot. But goodbye for YouTube. Follow my Twitch. This is live actually right now. Whatever though. I mean, you'll see in the future. You'll watch this on YouTube. Whatever. Repentance hates you. High Priest. High Priest. But yeah. I'll see YouTube later. I'm tired of ranting about this. It's just bad. But yeah, see YouTube later. Bye.